edit that joint too. Not the mute.
I'm gonna tell them to type something in the chat when they log in.
Or you might just have to just change it. Shalom, shalom, Mark, shalom. Brother Darren in the mix. About to get started here shortly. Hey, I'll throw some sevens in the chat if you can hear us.
It's a delay.
Come on.
A major one.
Come. We're about to get started. Come.
I'm gonna put in the IQ too.
I'm doing it full time now. Write it down. I'm trying to get things. You write it down. And then you can go back to it. And you can do it.
See. Before I dare. Brother Edison, yeah, shit, not yet.
We got a little feedback coming through.
Yeah, it's a hell of a delay.
Oh, you can hear it over here?
Yeah, it's some feedback though. How about now?
I was trying to, I don't see where you comment.
It's live chat. You should see somewhere where it say live chat.
But it's just in there. It should show in there too as well.
Maybe I gotta go on the YouTube app. Do I gotta go on the YouTube app?
Probably so.
Yeah. Hey, Brother Darren, we accept all donations. You know what I'm saying? It's going toward the building of the congregation and the saints. You know what I'm saying?
All right, man. This is the first Saints Live, man, kicking it off. Right, for the feast of the day of Simon, right, which is it's a holy day. And we're going to get into it, man, get into the scriptures and break this thing down.
Who is him?
That's that.
Wow, girl.
Come. Okay, we need to have that going through. Put that up here this week.
What's that?
The C app. Since you might just have to mute because when we're talking, you hear yourself. I can't throw myself off.
I don't know if it's feedback though. That's the biggest thing I'm worried about because she in here. I don't know if that's why.
But I'm saying I think it just picks up the audio. So if she's turned down, yeah, if she's muted and turned down, she can still view it from over there. Mic check. We're good out.
Check on Kinfolk.
Oh yeah, he says it's better. All praise. Get that noise out.
How come I can't?
How come I can't see?
Yeah, sit down.
Sit your butt down. This is Brother Darren in there. We gotta work with these. You know what I'm saying?
Shalom, sis. Shalom.
My shalom, sis. Straight along over there. Sometimes we take this in. We can start adding videos.
Okay. Just watch the We're gonna wait a few more minutes for everybody to jump in. As we stated earlier, it's the Feast of the Day of Simon, right? We're gonna go into the history, the account, to the Apocrypha. If you're just now jumping in, make sure you have your Apocrypha, notepad, pens,
and your sword.
Right? And we're gonna get into this historical event, right? Dealing with our heritage and our nationality. We also got a scribe that's going to be putting the precepts in the chat so you can follow along. If you get caught up marking up your sword, the precepts will be in the chat.
Con. It's not for now. It's 9:50.
Okay, we do not. We're gonna check this thing off.
I believe in order to see the live chat, you got to be on the YouTube app. Sister Nashima was just dealing with that. I think when you upload the app or you bring this up on the app, then you're able to see the live chat. I don't know if you're able to if you don't. I'm tapping in via Instagram. I'll make sure to put that on there too.
On the ground.
Yeah, we'll put the gram on the YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like link them up, sync everything.
Come, the water says.
Hey, brother Ed, right quick. I see him tapping in on IG.
Yes,
Hey, everybody who in the live chat, say something so we'll know that you in here. We're trying to see how many saints we got on the chat right now. So if you can type something live, you might have to open it in your app. If you don't see the live, it might have took you straight to the website. You might have to open it on your YouTube app. Not might, you will have to open it on your YouTube app in order to see the live chat. But we're trying to see what our saints is in the building. So if you can, type a quick shalom or 777 into the live chat. We're just trying to verify. We see Brother Darian, Sister Namai, Nashima, Sister Ruby. But that's all we got right now. So anybody else, please tap in. Brother CJ, shalom.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Don't know who that is. I think that's not Napash. Is that you, sis? Kwam Beautiful Yasharala. It is. Shalom, sis. So that's what? Let me see.
Right, the water for the patience. Yasharala.
Everybody hit that subscribe button, please.
Kind on your way in, hit the subscribe.
Huh? Who? I don't know what you're talking about, bro. What you looking for? Cheez-Its? It's over there on the couch. Where are they? Oh, down.
Three minutes, y'all. 3 minutes. We're gonna kick this thing off, man. We're gonna kick it off.
We're gonna open up in prayer. Then we're gonna be jumping in the book of First Maccabees, chapter 13. Of course, we'll be going to other places, but we'll mainly be in First Maccabees, chapter 13.
All right. We'll go ahead and open up real quick. Let us pray. Father, now Yahweh, the water for today. Father, we thank you for this day of feast. Father, we thank you for the opportunity, the privilege to be able to go into your word, to get a better understanding of how you have called us out of the darkness and into the marvelous light. We pray as we go into this story, these accounts, that they may bear witness with our spirits, that we can continue to gird up our loins, right, and to continue to fight for our brothers and our sisters in Israel. We pray all these things in your son's holy and precious name. In the name of Yahweh, Bashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Kind. So that first precept, like we said, get your pens and your pads, your sword, your apocrypha. We're going to go ahead and get into the first book of Maccabees, chapter 13.
Again, the precepts is going to be in the chat. We got Sister Ruby on the scribe work. So anything you miss, you can kind of scroll back through the chat and be able to add it to your notes. Shalom, Sister Habia.
Shalom, shalom. This is First Maccabees, chapter 13, verse 1. Now when Simon heard that Tryphon had gathered together a great host to invade the land of Judea and to destroy it, and saw the people was in great trembling and fear, he went up to Jerusalem and gathered the people together.
We're going to go from there. We're going to go to First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 1, just getting an account of, the characters and everybody involved in this day.
Go ahead.
We give y'all time to get there. You can type a quick con in if you can. Make sure we ain't taking off leaving you. It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
In those days arose Matthias,
mm-hmm.
the son of John,
mm-hmm.
the son of Simeon,
right,
a priest of the sons of Joarib,
mm-hmm.
from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin.
Salakia. So this Matthias, this is the father of all the Maccabees, right? So now it's going to give an account of his lineage, right, and what was going on at this time. Go ahead, Al.
And he had 5 sons:
mm-hmm.
Johanan,
mm-hmm.
called Caddis, Simon, called Thassi, Judas, who was called Maccabeus,
mm-hmm.
Eleazar, called Abiron, and Jonathan, whose surname was Aphus. And when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem,
mm-hmm.
he said, "Woe is me."
Woe is what?
Woe is me.
Right. So, Lucky, this is not the first time that they've seen battle. Right. We're in chapter 13, but we're going back to chapter 2 just to show you many accounts over and over. Israel has been in captivity, right, and been going through persecution. But now here is Matthias, the father. He's saying, "Woe is me." Go ahead.
And we know why. We keep falling subject to captivity and different nations rising up against us because we're not keeping the laws, So we're gonna go into that as well. Verse 7, he said, "Woe is me!
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people?"
Right. So, like, it should bring us to a certain mind state when we see our people downtrodden, right, persecuted, right, just walking around aimlessly in the world, have no purpose, right? Go ahead.
And of the holy city,
mm-hmm.
and to dwell there when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of the strangers. Her temple is become as a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Her young men with the sword of the enemy.
See, these are some of the curses too that you will see in Deuteronomy chapter 28. Right, being killed in the streets. Our holy vessels being taken by the heathen,
carried away in captivity, as we are to this day. Verse 10: What nation hath not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? As we know, all nations have risen up against us at one point or another. We all have been subject to these other nations in different captivities over time. From there, we're going to go back to the book of First Maccabees, and we're going to pick up with verse 3. Maccabees chapter 13, and we're going to pick up with verse 3.
So, like, let me grab one more precept, verse 64 in chapter 2.
Hold
hold that, Akia. We're gonna pull
First Maccabees chapter 2. We're going to start at verse 64. First Maccabees chapter 2. We're going to start at verse 64 and we'll read through 70.
everybody else say Con. Keep it rolling. Got a few precepts. We don't want to hold up everybody all night, but we want to let the Spirit have its free course, right? This is, I'll bring it out. We can bring it down.
Okay.
This is First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 64. Wherefore, ye my sons, be valiant.
Be what?
Be valiant,
Mm-hmm.
and shew yourselves men in the behalf of the law.
Mm-hmm. So keep the laws. The same thing we were saying. It's what was causing us to go off. To offset that is to keep the laws. Be men of the law. Go ahead.
For by it shall ye obtain glory.
Uh-huh.
And behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of counsel.
Like what?
A man of counsel.
Mm-hmm.
Give ear unto him always.
Mm-hmm.
He shall be a father unto you.
So Simon, the day that we're in, he was the man of counsel. He was the one that was going to lead them out of captivity under his wise counsel. We do have our ancestor Judas Maccabeus, who was a mighty man, a mighty warrior, but everybody had a role to play. He was one of the mightiest warriors in our lineage, so he played that role. But Simon was the man of wise counsel at that time. Go ahead, King.
Picking up at verse 66. As for Judas Maccabeus, he had been mighty and strong, even from his youth up. Let him be your captain.
So that was his role. He'll be the captain, not necessarily the man that would lead the people out of bondage by his voice, but by his works. He was the captain. Go ahead, King.
And fight the battle of the people. Take also unto you all those that observe the law.
Not those just Israelites.
All those that observe the law.
Not just the house of Judah.
All those that observe the law.
Boys that are keeping the commandments. Take every family, every household that is following after the statutes and commandments of the Most High. These are the people that you care after. Go ahead.
And avenge ye the wrong of your people. Recompense fully the heathen. And take heed to the commandments of the law. So he blessed them and was gathered to his fathers. And he died in 146 years, and his sons buried him in the sepulchres of his fathers at Modin. And all Israel made great lamentation for him.
So this is the death of their father Matthias. And he was buried in Modin with his fathers. And it further on more in the story, you'll see where other brothers will be buried there as well. We're going to jump back in First Maccabees, verse 13, and we're going to pick up at verse 3. Or chapter 13, we're going to pick up at verse 3. I read, King. Back in First Maccabees, chapter 13, we're going to pick up at verse 3. And it reads, and gave them exhortation, saying, ye yourselves know what great things I and my brethren and my father's house have done for the laws and the sanctuary, the battles also and troubles which we have seen.
So, Lucky, they knew who the Maccabees were, right? At this point in time, right? In chapter 2, the father dies off. They go through many battles and many wars. And in chapter 13, here you have Simon saying, hey, y'all know who he is, right?
Yeah, because like you said before, this ain't the first battle.
Right.
They already been getting down on behalf of the Most High.
So here you have Simon. Remember, he's the one with wisdom and counsel, right? So now he is exhorting the people. He's trying to pour that into the people to remind them that they are a royal priesthood, right?
Because just Salakia, it could take, winning those battles. As we said before, Maccabeus was a mighty man, a mighty warrior. So this is a light thing with the Most High on your side and you're a mighty man to win a war. To win a battle. But in order to win the actual war and have your nation at rest, it's going to take some counsel. And that's where Brother Simon came in. Verse 4. by reason whereof all my brethren are slain for Israel's sake.
All my what?
All my brethren are slain for Israel's sake.
And they putting on for the city. Right? Go ahead.
And I am left alone. Now, therefore, be it far from me that I should spare my own life in any time of trouble.
Right.
For I am no better than my brethren.
Right. He says, I'm not gonna ask this cup to pass from me because I would be no better than my brethren. Right? I'm gonna stick this thing out.
You know, if it takes my brothers' lives for Israel to find peace, then if it takes my life as well, then so be it.
Right.
He's saying, for the most part, let the Most High will be done. Verse 6. Doubtless I will avenge my nation and the sanctuary and our wives and our children.
Go on.
For all the heathen are gathered to destroy us of very malice.
A quick precept that come to mind. It's not on a breakdown, but that's Psalms 82, 83.
Psalm 83, Confederates.
And it talks about all the nations, right, that arose up against Israel, right? Grab that real quick. It's Psalms 83. I'm going to start at 1 real quick. We're going to read to 7. Read to 7. Psalms 83, verse 1 through 7. It says, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
Oh, who?
O Yahweh.
Calling on the Most High.
Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Against who?
Against thy people.
Against everybody.
Against thy people.
Against the Israelites.
And consulted against the hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Yasharallah, Israel, may be no more in remembrance.
Then in turn call them black, African American, Puerto Rican, Cuban. Let's just wipe out the name of Israel so that they not know who they are. That's crafty counsel. Go ahead, King.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites and the Moabs and the Hagarenes and Gebel and Ammon and Amalek and Philistines and the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. As Assur also is joined with them, they have hope in the children of Lot, Salah. Right? So that lists numerous nations, as it was just bringing out in First Maccabees chapter 13, how all these nations have come to take hold of Israel, right? And they're gonna be judged by that.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it starts with the Edomites, right? And this is what we're dealing with right now in this book.
Right. So jumping back to First Maccabees chapter 13,
I'll pick up at 7. First Maccabees chapter 13, verse 7. Now, as soon as the people heard these words, their spirit revived.
So, let's grab a quick precept real quick. Nehemiah 4 and 13.
I'm already there. It's going to be Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 13. Nehemiah chapter 4 and verse 13.
Because this is not the first time that other nations have done this to Israel. It's another account in Maccabees, the 3rd chapter. We're going to pull that too as well.
Brother Zion, Shalom.
Shalom, Mark, Shalom.
This is book of Nehemiah, chapter 4, verse 13. Therefore set I in the lower places behind the wall and on the higher and on the higher places. I even set the people after their families with their swords.
With their what?
With their swords, their spears, and their bows. And I looked and rose up and said unto the nobles and to the rulers and to the rest of the people, be not ye afraid of them. Remember Yahweh, which is great and terrible, and fight for your brethren.
And fight for what?
And fight for your brethren.
Right. So, this is at the time of the Babylonians right here, right? When Nehemiah is prophesying to the people, and he's telling them the same thing that Simon is telling his people. Hey, fight for your brethren, man. Go ahead.
Your sons and your daughters, your wives and your houses, And it came to pass when our enemies heard that it was known unto us, and Yahweh had brought their counsel to naught, that we returned all of us to the wall, every one unto his work.
Right.
And it came to pass from that time forth that the half of my servants wrought in the work, and the other half of them held both the spears, the shields, and the bows.
Right. So, Laki, and that's what me and Ak was talking about earlier, right? It's some brothers that might not be mighty like that. Right. They might be tillers of the field, tillers of the ground. Right.
You still got a role to play though. You know, you can still benefit the family, you know what I'm saying, or the nation. You know what I'm saying? What would hurt the nation if you getting outside of your lane and thinking you're a warrior and getting slain and leaving your family fatherless. But if you understand that that's not your lot, that's not your lot. You know what I'm saying? What you can do is perfect what is your lot. Jumping back in verse 16. Half of them held both the spears, the shields, and the bows, and the habergeons, and the rulers were built all the house of Judah. We're gonna jump back into Shalak. I think we got one more precept.
We got two more. I got that First Maccabees 3 and 43. You can break it down.
First Maccabees chapter 3 verse 43.
And it reads, they said one to another, let us restore the decayed estate of our people.
And that's what we're still doing this day. It's like the valley of the dry bones. We going and speaking life into our people that's amongst that. You know, when we go out in the corners and the highways and byways, when we gather together, when they see us in our righteous apparel, when they see us keeping the commandments, when they see us loving our brother instead of having the evil eye toward us, that's restoring the decayed state of our people. Go ahead, King.
Restore the decayed estate of our people, and let us fight for our people.
Do what?
Fight for our people and the sanctuary. Right? And that's all spiritual too as well, right? Our people, and then also the sanctuary, you being the temple as well. Right? You got to fight for that thing, right? Don't allow it to be profaned by any heathen, right? And just be mindful.
Or any heathen custom. You know, we got to fight against these fleshly desires. You know, we may not be in a physical battle, but we're in a spiritual war every day.
Next precept, real quick. We're going to get back to the Maccabees, but it's 1 Corinthians chapter 4. And Salakia, 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 4. Is that right? 1 second. That's not what I want.
I think it's 4 and 6.
So, Lockie, give us 1 second. I can turn down the strongholds.
10 and 4 through 6.
That's not what I see on here. Just wrote it down wrong. That's dealing with the spiritual rock.
Come on, I got it.
Right? But we're getting to another account that's in 1 Corinthians, right? Where Paul was talking about that we got to tear down every stronghold, man. And that's what the brothers was doing, the Maccabees, but they was tearing down every stronghold, everything that might be adversarial that Israel is going to be persecuted with, right? Tear down every stronghold. If one of the brothers might find, is it
2 Corinthians 10 and 4.
Salakia. 2 Corinthians.
It's me 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 4.
The water. All right. I know it says 4 in the chat. We're gonna start at 3. You know how we do, right? We like to read up a little bit, get the context. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and 3. 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down the imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of Yahweh. Right? Even just the knowledge of the law, statutes, and commandments, the knowledge of who Yahweh Shai is, right? We coming against that, right? And bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Yahweh Shai, and having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. Right. So what this is saying is like we can be able to avenge all the wrongdoings, but first we have to be in obedience. Right. We have to be walking circumspect. We have to be walking according to the best of our abilities and rehearsing these righteous acts, just as we're doing today by observing the day of Simon. Right.
Let me get that Ephesians 4, so like Ephesians 6 and 12. Bobby Shah. This is not on the breakdown. It's just to let me back on some of the points we just brought out. It's going to be Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12.
Good precept, It's a classic. Ephesians 6 and 12. And it reads, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Right? This was just Paul was just saying our weapons are not carnal. Right? For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Right. So we understand that everything is spiritual. Right. When it comes down to it, at the end and the beginning of the day. Right. So that was 2 Maccabees, Salaki. That was 2 Corinthians 10, 4 through 6, and that was Ephesians 6 and 12. Right. We're gonna get back to the breakdown.
Pick up at verse 7. Verse 7. This is 1 Maccabees chapter 13, verse 7. Now, as soon as the people heard these words, their spirit revived.
What?
Their spirit revived.
Hey, man, it's a beautiful thing, man. When you see the brothers, when the light turn on, man, you prophesying to them, right? You reminding them who they are, right? And then them brothers start waking up, man. You gonna lift up that voice, huh? Like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions too as well, right?
Salakia.
When you're 37.
Okay.
Which one you looking for?
This is Ezekiel chapter 37. I'm gonna start at verse 6. This is a side precept as well. But it said here in Maccabees, now as soon as these people heard these words, their spirit revived. Okay, this is Ezekiel 37 and 6. And it says, and I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up on you flesh, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live.
And ye shall what?
And ye shall live.
Right, so we understand that this is spiritual, right? It's not literally a valley of dry bones, right? It's literally the people of Israel having no life in them.
They dried up and decrepit spiritually.
Right.
And ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh.
Right, and so that life is the ruach, right? It's the breath of life. It's that being born again. Right.
And it says, so I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came upon them, and the skin covered them above, and there was no breath in them. Then I prophesied, then he said unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus said the Lord of God, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived, and stood up on their feet, and an exceeding great army. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say, our bones are dried up, and our hope is lost, and we are cut off from our parts.
Right? They wish that.
So this is what happened in the same sense of Brother Simon speaking to the people. It says, now as soon as the people heard these words, their spirit revived. This is the same thing, or the same reference. You know, it's a parabolical statement in Ezekiel, but it's speaking in layman's term in First Maccabees. It's the same thing. Salakia,
pick up at verse 8.
Pick up at verse 8.
Jumping back into First Mac, chapter 13, picking up at verse 8, right? Verse 8, and it reads, and they answered, this is after their spirit has been revived, right? They turned up, right? And they answered with a loud voice, saying, thou shalt be our leader instead of Judas.
So what?
Thou shalt be our leader instead of Judas. And Jonathan thy brother.
Precept. This is Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 2. You know, because Simon didn't go in there saying, hey, my brother and them done died, so now I'm taking over. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be the one. Y'all gonna follow me. I'm gonna get it done. No, that's not the spirit the brother came in. The brother led by his works and his actions, and the people raised up and said, what?
It says, thou shalt be our leader instead of Judas and Jonathan thy brother.
This is Proverbs chapter 27. I'm gonna start at 1. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what day a day may bring forth.
Right, you don't know what tomorrow holds. Right, we always say Yah willing, right, because we don't know if the Most High can come right now. Right.
Let another man praise thee.
Let what?
Another man praise thee.
Hey, like Hebrew was just saying, Simon didn't go out there and say, hey, y'all see how I got the people, you know what I'm saying, following me. I got their countenance built up, right?
Nor did he say, hey, man, y'all know how my brother and them got down. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how mighty my brother was and how my father was. So it's only right there, since I'm in their bloodline, that I keep, you know what I'm saying, leading the people. No, the people rose up and said, well, you going to be our leader now. Again, this is Proverbs 27 and 2. Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth, a stranger and not thine own lips. From verse 8, we're going to jump down to verse 14.
First Maccabees chapter 13 and 14.
I read, you can break it down, King. And it says, again, First Maccabees 13 and verse 14. Our precepts going to be in the chat, you know, if we run off and leaving anybody. And it reads, now when Tryphon knew that Simon was risen up instead of his brother Jonathan, and meant to join battle with him, he sent messengers unto him, saying, whereas we have Jonathan thy brother.
So Tryphon, he wicked, right? He under the rule of Antiochus Epiphanes, right? Antiochus, these are Greeks, right? And so this is under the Greco rule, and so he's a captain of the armies underneath Antiochus, right? So here he says, whereas, go ahead, bring that out again, Salakia.
He says, whereas we have Jonathan thy brother in hold, it is for money that he is owing unto the king's treasure, concerning the business that we have committed unto him.
So now he's scamming, right? He done took hold of Simon's brother Jonathan. He done hemmed him up, right? He done got him in bondage, and now
holding that boy for ransom.
Yeah, holding him for ransom, man. So let's see how Simon deal with his brother, right? Because we understand that Judas was a man of war, but Simon was a man of counsel and wisdom. Right? Keep going.
Wherefore now send 100 talents of silver, and 2 of his sons for hostages.
And what?
Send 100 talents of silver and 2 of his sons for hostages.
Come on, man. You asking for too much, man.
Bro, you doing way too much.
Come on.
You doing way too much. And if you asking for that type of ransom,
right?
There's you probably not gonna.
It's got to be a catch.
Yeah, you probably not gonna give me what I want.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Salakia, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
That when he is at liberty,
Mm-hmm.
he may not revolt from us.
Right. So once we give him freedom, he not gonna come back at us
and rise up against us.
Right, because we got his 2 sons.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we will let him go.
Come on, man. You think I'm gonna believe that? What Simon do?
Hereupon Simon, albeit he perceived that they spake deceitfully unto him, they was finessing. And Simon peeped it, like, yeah, y'all just trying to get me to get down. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want me to give y'all my nephews so y'all can slay all 3 of them.
And that's another thing. Like, what would the people think? I'm supposed to be the leader.
Right.
Right.
I done folded to your demands.
Right. I done built these people up, told them they can count on me, and I done offered my brothers, my nephews up, right, for the slaughter. Go ahead, Art.
Hereupon Simon, albeit he perceived that they spake deceitfully unto him, yet sent he the money and the children, lest peradventure he should procure to himself great hatred of the people, who might have said, because I sent him not the money and the children, therefore is Jonathan dead. So he sent them the children and the 100 talents, and howbeit Tryphon dissembled, neither would he let Jonathan go.
Right, Khan. So with Simon, he was in a pickle right here. He was between a rock and a hard place. Right, he had the people that was going to rise up, whether he did or didn't. So he was like, well, let me go ahead and do this, because again, like, family, we got to understand that everything is spiritual, right? And this is for the edification of the people, and we spiritual beings at the end of the day. If this is going to be the what is it? It's a saying. These are the wages of war. Right. These are the costs that we pay for war. Right. Keep going. That was a 19.
We're gonna jump down to 22. Right.
So long story short, Tryphon, he didn't give him up. Right. He didn't give the brother Jonathan up. So now Simon gonna have to handle up.
Right? So everywhere Tryphon went, Simon went there beefing for him. You know, so it wasn't no giving way. He just give up his nephews and left his brother hang him out to dry.
Right.
Everywhere that Tryphon went, Simon followed him in battle. Verse 22. Wherefore Tryphon made ready all his horsemen to come that night, but there fell a very great snow, by reason whereof he came not. So he departed and came into the country of Gilead. And when he came near to Bascama, he slew Jonathan, who was buried there.
Right. So here you have Simon's brother is now being slain by Tryphon. What happens?
Afterward, Tryphon returned and went into his own land. Then sent Simon and took the bones of Jonathan his brother and buried them in Modin. Buried them in Modin, the city of his fathers.
Right, the same city where Matthias was buried, their father, in Modin. Right.
And all Israel made great lamentation for him.
And who?
All Israel made great lamentation for him.
Go ahead.
And bewailed him many days. Simon also built a monument upon the sepulchre of his father and his brethren, and raised it aloft to the sight, with hewn stone behind and before.
Hey, man, you couldn't miss this thing, man. He was a mighty man, so he had to put some mighty monuments up in remembrance for these brothers.
Moreover, he set up 7 pyramids.
7 what?
7 pyramids.
Hey, that's how you know we them people, man. Right? Go ahead.
One against another for his father and his mother and his 4 brethren. And in these he made cunning devices, about the which he set great pillars. And upon the pillars he made all their armor a perpetual memory, and by the armor ships carved, that they might be seen of all that sail on the sea.
Right, man. It was for when you coming into the city, and you can see these monuments, man.
This is the sepulchre which he made at Modin, and is standing yet unto this day. Now Tryphon dealt deceitfully with the young king Antiochus, and slew him.
And what?
And slew him.
Right. So here you have Tryphon that rose up against Antiochus, man.
This boy is wicked. He getting down on everybody.
Man, come on, Art.
And he reigned in his stead, and crowned himself king of Asia. Hey, what we just say? Let another man praise your lips and not yourself.
Kind.
And boy said he made himself king. He crowned himself king of Asia and brought a great calamity upon the land.
Hey, but upon him doing that, man, he brought great devastation to the land.
Kind. Then Simon built up the strongholds in Judea.
So all this is going on, but Simon, he getting up his strength together, man. He gathering up the captains of thousands.
And fenced them about with high towers and great walls and gates and bars and laid up victuals therein. Moreover, Simon chose men and sent to King Demetrius to the end he should give the land immunity, because all that Tryphon did was to spoil.
Right, Demetrius is a king of Persia. Right, so you got the Persians and the Greeks. Right, this is all going on at the same time.
Unto whom King Demetrius answered and wrote after this manner: King Demetrius unto Simon the high priest, and friends of kings, and also unto the elders and the nations of the Jews.
Of the who?
Of the Jews. Sendeth greetings. The golden crown and the scarlet robe which ye sent unto us, we have received. And we are ready to make a steadfast peace with you.
Right. So this is now Simon has sent out a treaty to the king of Persia. Right. And so now he's writing back this King Demetrius, and he's saying, hey, I received all these things. Let me show you the agreements, the terms. Right. Go ahead.
And to write up unto our officers to confirm the immunities which we have granted. And whatsoever covenants we have made with you shall stand. And the strongholds which ye have built shall be your own. As for any oversight or fault committed unto this day, we forgive it.
Right. We don't want no smoke with y'all. Right. We understand it's y'all a mighty nation now. Y'all built up the kingdom back, or you working on it. Hey, we won't have no smoke.
And the crown tax also, which ye owe us, and if there were any other tribute paid in Jerusalem, it shall no more be paid.
Hey man, the Most High was on their side, man. Did we grab that precept?
Kind.
Psalms. Is it
Uh,
later on?
I believe it's later on.
Kind. Keep going.
It's at the end. At the end, right at the end of this letter. It shall no more be paid. And look, who are meet among you to be in our court, let them be enrolled, and let there be peace betwixt us. Thus the yoke of the heathen was taken away from Israel in the 170th year. You can pull it now.
That's Psalms. What was it? 34?
124.
124. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 124 and 1 through 3. Psalms 124, 1 through 3. I'm gonna bring it out from the top. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 124 and verse 1. If it had not been for the Lord.
Now for the other nations.
If it had not been for the Lord.
Now my own arm.
If it had not been for the Lord, who was on our side, now may Israel say, if it had not been for the Lord, who was on our side, when men rose up against us, then they say, Salakia, then they had swallowed us up quick when their wrath was kindled against us.
Hey, if it weren't for the Most High, all the brothers would have got overthrown. If it weren't for the Most High, all of Israel would have got trodden down. If it weren't for the Most High, Simon may not have been able to rise up against these people and make peace with Demetrius, and he'd have had war with the Grecians as well as the Persians.
Man, I got a quick precept, man. This is Isaiah 45 and 7.
Bring it out.
Because you got to understand that the Most High did these things, right? For the prince, the king of Persia, to say, hey, we don't want no more smoke with y'all. They could have continued to persecute Israel, right? They could have ganged up, they could have linked up with the Greeks, right, and took them down, right? But the Most High.
First Samuel, go ahead.
Come on. Let's get there real quick. In Isaiah 45 and 7. And it reads, I form the light and create darkness.
Mm-hmm.
I make peace and create evil.
I make what?
I make peace and create evil.
Hey, the Most High made peace with them.
Uh-huh.
The Most High put it on their spirit to be peaceable toward Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, King.
I, the Most High, Yahweh, do all these things. That's it on that art.
This is 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 6 through 9. The Lord killeth and maketh alive.
He what?
He killeth and maketh alive.
Not my Jesus, not my Lord.
He killeth and maketh alive.
Go ahead, Art.
He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up.
Hey, man.
The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. Hey, the Most High made Demetrius not only be at peace with him, he made him forgive all the loans or anything they had to pay. He made them say that, yeah, y'all strongholds that y'all have built, those are y'all's and they can stand. You know what I'm saying? And we are on y'all side from this day forward. He raises up the poor out of the dust and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill. He set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are Yahweh's, and he has set the world upon them. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be in silent in darkness. For by strength shall no man prevail.
Hallelujah, man. Right. They're going to stand.
Jumping back in chapter 13, we're going to pick up at verse 42. Again, we in 1 Maccabees 13. 1 Maccabees chapter 13, verse 42. I pick up right. Then the people of Israel began to write in their instruments and contracts. In the first year of Simon the high priest, the governor and leader of the Jews.
The what?
The governor and leader of the Jews.
Hey, man, so Simon became what was he? It said that he had became a high priest. Right? He became a high priest. He was friends of the kings. Right? Now the brother, he's now become right. He's become a high priest and a governor and a leader of the Jews. Right? As it says there in verse 42. Read on.
In those days, Simon camped against Gaza.
Hey, but he was still camping out against Isaac. He's still looking for that cat. What's his name?
Tryphon.
Tryphon, right? Trifling the trifling, man. Tryphon.
Bring that out.
Come
and
on.
Besieged it round about. And he made also an engine of war and set it by the city.
So the engine of war, man. I know if y'all seen the movie of Troy, right? Where you can go in, right? They got a battering ram and they try to besiege the city, right? They couldn't get in the city. So Troy, in the movie Troy, they built this wooden horse, right? And they left it at the banks and they sent the boats out to make it seem as if they had left, right? And in the city thought that they had prevailed against the Greeks. But little did they know that inside of that horse, that Trojan horse, was all the Greeks, right? And at night, when everybody was asleep, they jumped out of that thing and slaughtered everybody in the city. But this engine of war in particular, it was kind of like a shield, like a if you had a boat over you guys and you ramming at the door, so the arrow was coming down on the top, you can't get it, but they come through the city and let's see what happens.
I didn't have one of them joints on GLT.
That's what I was thinking about.
An engine of war and set it by the city and battered a certain tower and took it. And they that were in the engine leaped.
And you got to understand, Simon's a man of counsel and wisdom. He didn't just come for the main door, right? It said that he took down what? It was a tower.
He took it.
Right. It was a tower. Hey, we got to get one piece of this thing first.
And they that were in the engine leaped into the city. Whereupon there was a great uproar in the city.
Here come these damn Israelites. Right. Go ahead.
And so much as the people of the city rent their clothes. And climbed upon the walls with their wives and children and cried with a loud voice.
What they say?
Beseeching Simon to grant them peace.
Please. Simon, show us some love, man. What else they say?
And they said, deal not with us according to our wickedness.
To our what?
To our wickedness.
Hey, man, these people knew that they was off.
They acknowledged that they was wicked. They didn't say, oh, it wasn't me. oh, nah, you got the wrong guy.
Right.
They said, hey, deal not with us according to our wickedness. We didn't know you was going to get the jump on us.
Right.
And
right.
now that you got us, bro, please. You know what I'm saying? But according to thy mercy.
According to thy what?
To thy mercy.
Kind of quick precept. Let's get Revelations chapter 6. We was talking about this the other last night with the bruise, right? At the men's study, right? Revelation 16.
6. Revelation 6 and 15 through 16.
Salakia. And it reads, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains,
what they say to them,
and the rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne.
They hide us from the Most High. Please hide us from the Most High. And they not saying we sorry. They not saying y'all got the wrong one. It wasn't us. They said hide us from the Most High, because he finna get on us for our wickedness. Finish that out, King.
Hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come. And who shall be able to stand?
Hey man, Gaza was in their day of wrath. They was gonna try down on them, and they pleaded with Simon, hey bro, please spare us. Please spare us, bro. For we know not what we do. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pick up at 47. So Simon was appeased toward them and fought no more against them.
Hey, I hear what y'all saying. I'm gonna give y'all a break.
He showed mercy. But put them out of the city. But y'all got to get up out of here.
Right.
Y'all got to get up out of here. This ours now. And cleanse the houses wherein the idols were. And so enter into it with songs and thanksgiving.
So as soon as they kicked them out of there, hey man, they had a turn up. They having a party. Hey, we're gonna clean this city back up. We're gonna restore this thing.
Yea, he put all uncleanness out of it, and placed such men there as would keep the law, and made it stronger than it was before.
Right. So he didn't just put anybody in there.
Right.
I need some brothers.
Are you an Israelite? Yeah, you can get in here. No,
brother.
We need some lawful, righteous brothers in here. So the same thing that don't happen before,
bring that out.
That was already happening, gonna happen again. We're gonna make sure that it's some righteous brothers that's gonna get replaced in here that I know gonna keep the laws and build up their children and rise in the rest of this city to do the same. And it was stronger than it was before, and built therein a dwelling place for himself. Precept. It's the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1. Right? It's the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of Yahweh, and the law that endured forever.
And the what?
The law that endured forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but if such shall leave it, shall die. And that's what Simon was already in the understanding of. That's why he put brothers in the city that was already keeping the laws. That I already knew the understanding that this law gonna do it forever. So once y'all come in here, uphold these laws, keep these commandments, and this city shall stand.
Good precept.
Jumping back into Maccabees chapter 13. Salakia. Jumping back, we finished this out?
We can roll this thing out.
I thought so. Picking up at verse 49. They also of the tower in Jerusalem were kept so straight that they could neither come forth nor go into the country, nor buy nor sell, wherefore they were in great distress. for want of victuals, and a great number of them perished through famine.
Right, Khan. So you got to understand what's going on right here, right? That, hey, we were still upholding these commandments. These people that we just kicked out of Gaza, right? They still wanted to buy, sell, and trade. But guess what? Hey, we keeping the commandments. So we observing the Sabbath, right? We observing the holy days. So these gates gonna be shut, right? You can't come in here and buy and sell like that. And Nehemiah, that's another account. Nehemiah said, hey, you keep coming around here,
I'm gonna lay hands on you.
Hey, man.
Verse 50.
Go ahead, Art.
Then cried they to Simon, beseeching him to be at one with them, which thing he granted them. And when he had put them out from thence, he cleansed their tower from pollutions, and entered into the 20th day of the second month, in the 171st year, with thanksgiving and branches of palm trees, and of harps and cymbals, and with viols and hymns and songs.
So, unfortunately, we weren't able to gather together like we wanted to on this day, right? The day of Simon. Hey, but it's a joyous occasion, man. So if y'all got your cups, man, you got your wine, your victuals. Hey, man, hey, lift those things up, man.
Because there was because there was destroyed a great enemy out of Israel.
It was a great day, man.
He ordained also that the day should be kept every year with gladness.
Kept what?
Every year with gladness. And that's what we're doing now to this day. You know what I'm saying? We remember in the day of Simon and when he rose up against our enemies and saved the nation of Israel. You got something?
No, you good. I was just gonna pull the righteous acts, but we're good.
Moreover, now pull that. Judges 5 and 11. Brother got a good precept to land me back on the point we just made.
This is the book of Judges, chapter 5, verse 11. They that are delivered from the noise of archers and the place of drawing waters, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts. Right? We was just delivered, right, from the noise of the archers, right, of the drawing waters. Right there, we shall rehearse the righteous acts of the Most High.
Of who?
Of the Most High.
This is the Most High's doing. So this is the righteous acts of the Most High. Go ahead, King.
Even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his villages in Israel.
Hey, this is the Most High righteous acts in keeping the villages of Israel as well. Go ahead.
Then shall the people of the Most High go down to the gates.
And that's what we're doing until this day. You know what I'm saying? We're not remembering Columbus. We're not remembering the Pilgrims. We're not remembering 9/11. We ain't doing none of that, bro. We remembering Simon and Judas Maccabees. We're remembering the Feast of Dedication. We're remembering the Passover. You know what I'm saying? We're remembering Israel and the days that they stood up for the nation and fought for their brethren. That's the days that we holding fast to. Finishing this out. Moreover,
we're jumping back in Maccabees 13. Where you at?
First Maccabees 13. I'm gonna start back at 52. First Maccabees chapter 13. I'm starting back at verse 52. He ordained also that day should be kept every year with gladness. Moreover, the hill of the temple that was by the tower he made stronger than it was, and there he dwelt himself with his company. And when Simon saw that John his son was a valiant man, he made him captain of all the hosts, and he dwelt in Gazra. So now he done raised up his son over the city.
You know what I'm saying? A beautiful thing, because guess who was in that position before his son John? And it was John's uncle, Simon's brother. Was it Jonathan? Judas, right? Judas was the captain, right? Salakia, Judas was the captain, and so now his son John has now become a captain of hosts.
We got about 3 more precepts. We're gonna jump down in chapter 14, verse 4. First Maccabees chapter 14, verse 4. And it reads, as for the land of Judea, that was quiet all the days of Simon, for he sought good of his nation in such wise as that evermore his authority and honor pleased them well.
Man. It was peace in the city. It was peace in the land. they didn't have any rivals at this time, right? Nobody wanted it against, because not only were they trying to rise up against Israel, they knew that they was rising up against the God of Israel.
Right.
Right.
And Simon being at war with these people, he wasn't fighting for the name of Simon. He's fighting for the name of Israel. He's fighting for the name of the Most High. And so he's fighting for his nation. He's fighting for the peace in his city, amongst his nation, amongst his people. From there, we're going to go to Proverbs 16 and 7. If you can bring it out, King.
It's the book of Proverbs. The book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 7. And it reads, when a man's ways please the Most High, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him.
Hey, man, Simon was moving in righteousness. And all these enemies that were rising up against them, even King Demetrius had made peace with him. You know, Tryphon was running from him. You know, these are things that the Most High can do for you when your ways please him. He will begin to fight for you and be on your side.
Even until this day, man, you know, in the workplace, hey, it's a lot of things that they might not understand what we do as Yasharala and how we move. Hey, but they can't hold a candle to it, man. Hey, that brother moving in righteousness. I might not like it. Hey, but that brother sharp, man.
All right, bring that out again.
This is Proverbs 16 and 7. When a man's ways please the Most High, he maketh even.
When they do what?
When a man's ways please the Most High,
keeping the laws, keeping the statutes and commandments, loving your brother, fighting for your brother. Go ahead.
He maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him.
We got one more precept in closing. This is going to be Judith, chapter 5 and verse 17. Judith, chapter 5 and verse 17. It's another one. For that one, you should start out.
You got Psalms 147?
Oh, yeah, you can grab that too. I thought it was another one. Yeah, 147:14.
Okay. This is a book of Psalms, chapter 147 and 14. Psalms 147 and 14, and it reads, he maketh peace in thy borders.
He do what?
He maketh peace in thy borders.
What did it say? What did it say?
When a man's ways please the Most High, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him.
Hey, chapter 14, verse 4 of Maccabees. As for the land of Judea, that was quiet all the days of Simon. And what did it say right there in Psalms?
It says, he maketh peace in thy borders.
Hey, it was peace in the borders. You know, because of the righteousness and the wise counsel that Simon carried throughout the nation. Go ahead, King.
And filleth thee with the finest of wheat. He sendeth forth his commandments upon the earth. His word runneth very swiftly.
His what?
His word runneth very swiftly.
Hey, man, the commandments is what's going to be the stability of the times. You know what I'm saying? And even these times. We got Judith, chapter 5 and verse 17.
This is in closing,
And whilst they sinned not before their power, they prospered.
Right.
Because Yahweh that hated iniquity was with them.
Right. So this is talking about during a time where a captain is speaking to his king, and he's saying, hey, man, these Israelites, it's something about them. When they in righteousness, the Most High with them. But if they not moving in righteous, hey, that's going to be a time. It's going to be the opening window for us to go in the season.
So let me tell you about them. You can't just handle them any type of way. Because it's something special about them if they doing what they God say. Again, and whilst they sin not before their power, they prospered because the power, Yahweh that hated iniquity was with them. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them,
they stopped keeping the laws, they stopped observing the covenant, the promises, the gifts, right?
Hey, they started following the heathen customs.
Right.
They started dressing themselves as the heathens addressed them. They started behaving as the heathens behaved. Okay. They were destroyed in many battles, very sore.
They were what?
Destroyed in many battles, very sore.
And this is why Simon, when he built the city back up, he put brothers that was going to what?
Keep the laws. Because he already knew what happens with us when we don't keep the laws. we were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs.
And this is why you have to know your history, right? Your true history, right? Was that it on there? Cool.
And the temple of their power was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies.
And when they went off, hey man, the city of their God was cast down. It was taken by the enemies, right?
But now, or they return to their power.
Hey, look out, man! It's something different. They kind of waking up, right?
And come up from the places where they were scattered.
Hey, from the four corners of the earth. They're coming back to the kingdom.
And have possessed Jerusalem.
And what?
And have possessed Jerusalem.
And that's what's going on right now. We possessing Jerusalem, but it's spiritually, man. Right?
We possessing our custom. We possessing our heritage, our identity. We possessing Jerusalem with their where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their power.
Hey, we need to what's that, Psalms 10 real quick? He said if there be any error in this people, this is what they do, right? Psalms 10, what's that, and 8, Psalms 10 and 8. Right? It says, he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages, in the secret places. Doeth he murder the innocent? His eyes are privily set against the poor.
Got another one.
Hey man, they be out there lurking, man, waiting for our downfall, waiting for us to see us break these commandments, slipping pork and everything.
What's that? This is Sirach chapter 12. I'm gonna start at 12. Set him not by thee, lest when he had overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place.
Hey man, when Simon kicked them boys out of there, hey, he wasn't dealing with them like that. Hey, you gotta come on the days when you're supposed to come, but you ain't gonna be up in here, not with us.
But you know they try to even with right here what they doing in Judith, they trying to plot against Israel so that when we befall, they can stand up and trot us down and stand up in our place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked. Hey, you're gonna be pricked at the heart. When you
think about these words, and you didn't hold them, you didn't hold fast to these things, and it's biting you. Go ahead, Art.
Another precept. This is Sirach 11. I started at 31. For he lieth in wait and turneth good into evil, and in things worthy praise will lay blame upon thee. Of a spark of fire, heap of coals is kindled, and a sinful man lieth wait for blood.
Good precept.
Salakia, I'm gonna finish this out. Take heed of a mischievous man, for he worketh wickedness, lest he bring upon thee a perpetual blot.
You gotta observe the times. Hey, try every tree. Hey, know its fruit. Right? If the brother wicked, hey, you gotta feed him with a long spoon.
I'm gonna finish this out in closing. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. But if there be no iniquity in their nation,
and if these brothers is they on point, man, they observing the laws, they observing the times, walking accordingly. What?
Let my Lord now pass by.
Hey, keep it moving.
Lest their Lord defend them, and their God be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world. Hey, this been happening since the beginning of time, or the beginning of the nation of Israel. You know, when we begin to keep the commandments and our God fight for us, it makes a mockery of the nation that's going against us. And with that, that will be the closing of the day assignment, the breakdown.
The water, everybody for tapping in. Brother Nasi with SUC.
Brother Shamaraya with SUC.
Man, and we're gonna be dropping some more precepts, more videos coming soon. Follow us on S_U_C_144 on the gram, right? And with that, You know, we want to give Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Barakathon.
Shalom.
Shalom.